Salesforce custom fields. Now, last class we have discussed about what is the Salesforce field introduction, what are the standard fields, and what are the different data types we have in the Salesforce. We have seen. Now let's say today I wanted to create some custom field. Right? If I want to create a custom field, how do I create it? And what is the purpose of it? So let's see it. So let's take a scenario. For example, I have an object in the Salesforce. So let's assume that I have a position object. In the position object, I need to create a certain fields to capture the like a position name and location, how many vacancies are open, what is the status of the position, when did it open, and what is the milestone and minimum pay, maximum budget. These all things we need to capture it. These all we need to capture it. Now, first of all, when do we go to the custom field? So custom field is nothing but whenever is like a you have already done with like a standard field is not able to fulfill. Now we have a certain standard fields are there. Now if standard fields are not able to fulfill the requirement, if standard fields are not able to fulfill the requirement, then we will go for a custom field. Go for a custom field. Now, custom field can be deleted. Custom field can be deleted. You can delete, modify, anything you can do it. Anything you can do it. For example, let's go for a object manager. In the object manager, let's say account. We have a standard fields here. Now, if I want to delete this, any like a, for example, if I wanted to delete any standard field, that's like clear status. I cannot delete anything. And I cannot even modify anything here. Just modification, you have a edit option here. That is just to changing the some kind of a options here, but you cannot change either label or a API or a data type. You cannot change anything. So changing the standard field data type, changing the standard field API name is not possible. You cannot do that. But custom field, you can create it, you can delete it, or you can modify it, anything you can perform it. So let's say I'm going to create a custom fields on the position object. So we have a position object. So click on the fields and relationship. Now click on the new button. First one, which is available position name. Position name is a standard field. So whenever the object is created, that time it created the position name. So you cannot, like you have an option here, click on edit. If you want to change the record name, you can change this. Or if you want to change the data type, text to auto number, you can change it. This is the standard field. So this standard field is while creating the custom object, it asks me what is the name of a record and what should be the data type. So that's exactly where we have used it. So this data type, you can modify it. Right now, the next one I'm going to create it, which is a location. Let's say location is a picklist field. Select the picklist data type. Now you have a here location. Now in the location, now you have a two option here. Either use a global picklist or enter the values. Now what is the global picklist? We'll see later. Right now, let's go ahead and enter the data here manually. Let's say location is, we have a different locations are available. Let's assume we have Hyderabad, Bangalore, Florida, Dubai. These are the couple of options we have location. And do you want to make this field as a required? Required in a sense, the user has to enter the data on the user interface. Without entering the data, they cannot save the record. And click on the next button. Now, before clicking on the next button, how do you want to show this picklist fields? Right? Do you want to display in the alphabetically on a order, like a ascending order, or do you want to use the first field as a default field? Right? Sometimes we want first field as a default field. So in that case, you can check this, use first field as a default value, or else if you wanted to sort it in the order. So display values alphabetically, not in the order entered. So what are the order I have entered? I do not want to see in this order. I wanted to see them in the alphabetical order. So which order it will take? So ascending or a descending? By default, it will take it as a ascending. Now, restrict picklist to the values defined in the value set. That means restrict is nothing but whatever the values are available within this, only accept those values. Sometimes what happens is if you do not give a restrict, now we have some external system, right? External system sending the information to the Salesforce. When they are sending a information to the Salesforce, in the Salesforce, we have a field called location. Assume that they are sending some Delhi information to the Salesforce. Now, Delhi is not available in my pick list. Delhi is not there here. But whenever they are sending it, should we accept it or not? Is decided by this one. If you want to accept, apart from this, if any other system is sending the other options, if you want to accept it, then do not check this restrict. If you think that, okay, we should not be accepting the values, right? Only accept the values that are entered in the picklist values, then enable the restrict picklist. So restrict is nothing but I'm restricting to accept only these values. The one which is entered in the picklist value, only those I'm going to accept it. Otherwise, we will not accept. And then click on the next button. And then finally, we have a field visibility, like who all can see this field, all the profile information. You can select which are the profile you wanted. You can select it and click on the next button. And then here, let's say save. This is the location. Like this, you can create a multiple fields. For example, I wanted to create a number of vacancies. I wanted to capture number of vacancies, which is a number data type. So by looking at what is the purpose of field, I can identify what is the data type. So number of vacancies is a number data type. Vacancies. Right. So let's say it's just a 2-digit and decimal. It's a number is going to accept all the numbers as well as the decimal. Now, if you want a decimal, just a 2 or a 1, you can choose 1. Do you want to make this as a required? Or let's say here, number field, do not allow the duplicate values. If you do not want to allow the duplicate values, right? I have a 10 records are there. In position, I have a 10 records. Each record should have a different value in the number of vacancies. In that case, go for a do not allow the duplicate values. And the next one is set this field as a unique record. Set this field as a unique record identifier from an external system. Now this is nothing but this is also a unique field which we are receiving it from the external system, or we are sending the information to the external system. So this field is a unique, the one which we are receiving it from the third-party system. Okay, whenever we receive the information from the third-party system, in this third-party system, there is a one field is there, and this field value, I wanted to store it into the another field in Salesforce. But this field has to be a external ID. That means which is related to the external ID, and this external ID has to be a unique ID. Unique ID is nothing but every record should have a unique information. It should not match with other one. Similar to the record ID. Now we have a record ID in Salesforce similar to the record ID. So if you want external ID as a, like if you are bringing the data from the external system, or if you are sending any data to the external system, and if you based on this ID, if you are maintaining certain type of a flow between the two systems, in that case you go for an external ID. And API prediction, this is related to the API prediction scores. Like AI prediction is nothing but just by looking at scanning it. So if you check this, now this is newly added. The functionality is not yet added on this. What is the functionality? It's yet to be accepted. Now let's say I'm going to check this AI prediction. Here, let's say I'm going to check this as the AI prediction and click on the next. Number of vacancies. Which profile should have this number of vacancies? Choose the profile and then click on the next button. Click on next button and then click on save and new. Now similarly, we have a position status. Position status is also a pick list. Choose the pick list. Position status. Enter the values like a new, in progress, and closed. By default, first value as a default value, it has to be a new, or if you do not want a default value, just remove it. And click on the next button. And this is the profile level access. Click on the save. Similarly, we have a like a when did this position is open? What is the date the position is open? What is the date the position is open? So position state, which is a data type, is date. This is the open date. Make it as a required, you can make it as a required. Required in a sense, it has to be entered. Without this, it cannot be created. Now, if I make it as a mandatory, then you will not see here read-only option. This screen will be disabled based on the previous session, previous screen, based on the previous screen, whatever the checkbox is there, whether it is a required checkbox or not. So based on this selection, the second screen is depends on. So if you make it as a previous screen, as a read only, like a required field, then third step is everything is a disabled. Now if you make second step, required is removed. If I remove the required, then click on the next button, then you will see that it is enabled and you can check this, right? So you have the option to do this. But if you make it as a required, the next screen will be disabled. Everything gets disabled and default on for all the profiles. Click on the next and then save. Right, so these are the custom fields. Custom fields are ending with __c. Whatever the custom field I'm creating it, everything is a __c. Now, let's say I'm going to create another one. If you want to add a budget, like what is the maximum pay or a minimum pay? What is the pay that we are going to give the candidate? So pay is a currency. So I'm going to take a currency, click on 7, click on next. Let's say maximum pay or maximum budget, maximum pay. Let's say I'm going to take a length 7 and decimals are 2. Right, so click on the next button and click on the next button, save. Perfect. So these are the fields which I have created. If I go back to the UI, now you can see the position object, open the position object. Let's refresh. Now let's click on the new button. Or if you have any existing records, you can open any existing record. Click on all position. We do not have anything. Click on a new. I'm going to create a JavaScript or a Lightning web component. And location, let's say location is maybe Hyderabad, or status is a new, and open date is planning to open on next week. So if you see here, all the required fields are coming as a star mark, right? Maximum pay. What is the maximum pay for the Lightning web component? Let's say, let's say 20 lakhs. Now click on the save. Record is created. This record is created. Now, based on the requirement, you can add a multiple requirements here. Multiple requirements. A number of vacancies. Why it is not editable? Did I make it as a read only? Let's go ahead and check. Click on the edit. Use this field to store the AI prediction stories. So that's the reason it is not editable. Right, so a general option, this is the AI prediction. So if it is a AI prediction, it will not be entered by the user. It is basically disabled, automatically calculated at the back end. Basically, this is used for the using the flow. Like if you are implementing a iStream prediction, right? If you are implementing the iStream prediction for iStream prediction to store the certain information, right? In that case, like you have a you are using a Einstein. So from the Einstein, you are capturing the certain fields. And what are the output of the Einstein is there? You are want to store the information in the certain fields. In that case, you can create a field and make it as a AI prediction. So if you make it as a AI prediction checkbox, so what this is basically kind of a formula field, like you cannot edit anything. So it will be simply calculated based on the Einstein. So this is used for the Einstein prediction builder. Einstein prediction. Builder. Right, so these fields are, you need not to worry about it. Once you created the AI prediction stories, AI prediction fields, you need not to worry about what is the data needs to be entered in that field. So Einstein is going to take care of by default. So here I cannot modify this back to the disabling this. Once it is enabled, I cannot modify it. Either I need to deactivate it, or delete it. Like if I wanted to delete, what should happen? Now let's assume that I want to delete this particular field. I wanted to delete this particular field. So if you want to delete this, you have an option delete. You have a option delete. So it will ask you that deleting the form, this custom field, it will cause the problem in the backend. Like if you have implemented any logic, or you have implemented a Apex class or a flows or some kind of a business logic you have implemented. So if you delete the custom field, it will be problem at the backend. The logic, whatever the logic you have implemented for that, it is going to cause a problem. So it is asking that do you want to really go for it? Because if you go for it, then it is you will be losing certain data or you will be losing certain information, right? So I do not want to do that. So in that case, what you can do is first check this field is used in which all are locations. Did you use this particular field in the apex or in the flows or where which all are places this field is used? You need to check it. So one easiest way to check which all are places this field is used, here on it, where is this used? This field, where is this used? Click on that field. So you will be able to see which all are places it has used. So you can see in the validation rule or a formula fields or like a page layout, apex, text class. So these are the things you can see it here. So based on that, if it is not used anywhere much, so what you can do is you can delete it. So delete option directly here not available. You need to go back and click on this delete. Now, once you delete it, this particular field will be there in the recycle bin. That means it will be available in the recycle bin for 15 days. For 15 days, it will be available. Click on this delete. Once you click on this delete, now you will not be able to see here, but it will be available in the recycle bin. So when I say recycle bin is nothing, but if you wanted to know where is that recycle bin, now switch to the classic or else here also you can see. Now you have the option here, recycle bin. So this recycle bin is a different. Now let's go to this. In this recycle bin, click on the org recycle bin. I cannot see the information here. This is a different. This is recycle bin for the all the records. Now what are the field that I have deleted, where it is going to store? Now let me show you that. You can see it in the classic. Go to the switch to classic. Setup. Search for a position. You will not see position. Search for a custom object. Search for custom object, which is nothing but a object. Right, so go to the objects. Open the position. And below you will see there is a field is deleted, right? So you can see here deleted fields. Click on this deleted fields. It will be available here for almost 15 days. It will be available. Even if you want to delete this particular field from the here deleted fields, you can do it. Erase. Erase is nothing but completely it is going to remove it from the org. So if you just keep it, it will be there for the 15 days. After 15 days, automatically it will erase it. Let's say I'm going to erase it. It says permanently deleting all the data. Yes, I wanted to delete permanently. Click on delete. Either there is two ways you can go to in the classic. Either click on here objects. Click on here objects and then go to the objects and then search for a custom object. Whatever you wanted to do, creating a field or removing the field, you can perform it in the classic. Or else in the lightning, switch to the lightning. Setup. Object manager. In lightning, rather than doing these all stuff, like I click on in setup and then go to the object manager and doing the position, rather than doing this multiple steps, what you can do is directly you can jump. That means directly you can click on here, open this position object and then open the record. Once you open the record, click on this setup icon, you will see that edit object. You will see edit object. So click on this edit object. It will directly take you to the object manager for this particular object. Now here, click on it, fields and relationship. Now I'll click on a new button. Now, number of vacancies, say it's a number data type. I'm going to keep number of vacancies 2 and decimals are 1. It's not required. It's not a unique. Now click on this next button. And then save. Once it is done, then you will be able to see on the Lightning Web Component, the number of vacancies, it will be available and it can be editable. Number of vacancies, let's say 3, click on save. Right, it will take time to reflect on this. Now that's about the custom fields. We can create a multiple fields. Let's assume that we have a scenario field dependent. Field dependency is nothing but usually field dependency is nothing but there are 2 pick list fields. Field dependent is available only for the pick list. Right, so we have created so far the pick list field. And this is one pick list field and this is another pick list field. So when I click on this pick list field, it will open up the drop down. Now let me show you that. This position is a pick list field. Now if I click on the drop down, it will open the certain fields. Right, so both are a pick list fields. If both are pick list fields and based on the first pick list field value, I wanted to show the values for the second pick list. Assume that in the second pick list, I have a 20 values are there. 20 values are there. So for these 20 values, I do not want to apply for all the time, like every record, I do not want to show the 20 values for this pick list field. Right, so based on the selection of the above one, based on the selection of the first pick list field, then I wanted to choose the second pick list value. I wanted to choose the second pick list value. Now, in that case, what we can do is we can go for a field dependent. That means one pick list field is a controlling field. It will control it. What should happen on the second field? It should control it. And the second one is a dependent. Second one is dependent. Second one is dependent, control and dependent. So this is dependent on the controlling field. So first field is going to control what should happen, which value should be displayed on the dependent field is going to decided by the field dependent. Let's assume that we have a position status, new, in progress and closed. Now assume that for new, I'm going to create another pick list field. Let's say that sub status. Let's say I'm going to create another field, sub status. The sub status is another pick list field. This pick list field, whenever the status is new, it should show yet to start. So I have a 2 fields. One controlling field is position status. Position status. Dependent field is sub status. Sub status. In the controlling field, now I'm going to specify new, which we have already have a field position status. In that we have a in progress, new, in progress, and closed. These fields are already there. Now new pick list field I'm going to create, and in this field I'm going to add certain values in this pick list field. let's say yet to start or delayed or pending approval. Pending approval. And we have a few more options here. Running late. Running in like a maybe interview in progress. Interview in progress. Let's say interviewer is busy. And the last one is which we have a selected candidate. Candidate selected. Candidate selected. Now these are the another pick list field I have. Now in this case, what I'm going to do is if I have selected it on the controlling field, if I have selected new, if I select a new, now whenever I select a new, dependent field should show yet to start and it should show delayed and then it should show pending approval. These three values should be displayed. If I have selected a in progress, if I have selected in progress, if I select the in progress, it should show the pending, it should show the interview in progress. And the second one is interviewer is busy. And then if I have selected the closed, I have selected the closed. If I select a closed, it should display the candidate is selected. So these are the dependent fields. For new, it should display these three values. For in progress, it should show these two values. For closed, it should show the last one. Now here in a sense, controlling is a position status, dependent is a substatus. Now let me show you that. Now first I need to create a field which is called as a substatus. Pick list. Click on the next button. Here, this is a substatus. And values I'm going to enter whatever we have discussed, same thing I'm going to. Here delayed pending approval in progress, interview in progress, interviewer busy, and candidate selected. Right, so these are the options I'm going to display. And restrict the pick list values. This is a substatus. Click on next. Click on the next button and then save. Now go to the fields and relationship. Here we have a field dependency. Now I want to create a field dependency. Now this field dependency, nothing but I'm going to create a field dependent. So let me go there. So field dependency, click on this field dependency. It says that click on a new button. This page allows you to define the dependencies between the two pick list fields. Now, what is the controlling field? Choose the controlling field, position status. What is the dependent field? Choose the dependent field, substatus. Click on continue. Once you click on continue, now it is going to ask you if the status is new, what are the values that you wanted to select it? Yet to start and delayed, just hold the control key and select it. So these three values should be new. So select this, click on include. Now let's say in progress. For in progress, I'm holding the control key and select the interviewer in progress, interviewer busy. Right, these two options should be part of the in progress. Now click on this, include. Similarly, we have a value closed. If it is a closed, candidate is selected, include, and then click on save. creating the field dependency in case if I wanted to modify the controlling field values. If I wanted to modify the controlling field values, basically I wanted to change the values. So whatever the values are there, I wanted to change on the controlling field. Let's say here I have some mistake is there. So if I wanted to edit, you can edit it. Edit does not help. So edit does not matter. Like we are not changing the complete name here. For example, if I'm editing here in progress, click on it, save. Now is my so once I have edited, is my whatever the field dependency is it going to change? Is it going to change? Now fields and relationship and go to the field dependency. So click on this field dependent and then click on it. Position status. In the position status, we have a new yet to start delayed pending. In progress is it's the same and closed is same. Right? But in case if you want to add a new value, in case if you want to add a new value, we can add a new value. We can add a new value. You want to add a new value, you can add a new value. After adding the new value, you can go to the field dependencies. Again, you need to select the substatus. Now, in case if you want to remove the existing values, you can deactivate it. But after deactivating it, go to the field dependencies and then again modify the controlling and dependent values. Right. So now we have created the values. Let's go here, click on a refresh. Okay. Inspect, refresh. It takes some time to update it.
If data is already there, and if you make these changes, what happens to the data?
So whenever you are changing it, it will ask you that there is a data is there. So do you want to delete and do you want to assign it to the different value? Let's say if you are deleting it, so click on a delete button. So when you are clicking on a delete button, so first it will ask, so whatever the value you are deleting it, do you want to replace all the records? Assume that there are 100 records are there and these 100 records have the in progress. Now it is asking that do you want to replace the in progress to the new picklist field or a closed picklist field, or do you want to add anything like do you want to make it as a blank? What are the records has a in progress? Just you wanted to make it as a blank. So it will ask you the certain information. So because Salesforce makes sure that there is no data is correcting it. So here, let's say we have a new. Now, wherever the dependencies controlling is there, it will ask you this. So new, based on the new, it is going to display. Yet to start, delayed and pending approval. If I select the in progress, it is going to display the interview in progress and interview visit. Now, if I select here close, it is going to show me the dependency candidate is selected. So based on this position status, my values gets changed into the substatus. Values are changed into the substatus. So that's about the field dependent. Field dependent should have a two picklist fields. One is a controlling, one is a dependent. So you need to identify which one is a controlling, which one is a dependent. And the next one, we have a global pick list. Now, global pick lists are basically assume that now you have a 5 objects are there. In 5 objects, you have a field, pick list field, which is called country. You have a pick list field, which is called country. Now, country pick list field values are common for all the objects. Country pick list fields or country pick list fields, maybe you wanted like it's a common for, these values are common for every object. Instead of you entering the values in every picklist field, so what you can do is you can create a common picklist field which is called as a global picklist. Global picklist is nothing but where you can enter the values only one time, but this can be used in the multiple places, multiple objects. This can be used in multiple objects. So in case in future, if you want to modify anything in the country field, you need not to modify in multiple objects. Simple, you can change it in the global pick list. Right? It is automatically reflected everywhere. And global pick list is a restricted pick list, and you cannot accept any other fields. Basically, this restricted is nothing but I'm locking the values. I'm locking the values in the pick list. So whatever the values are there in the pick list values, only those should be accepted because these are locked. Locked in a sense, only use this. If anybody is trying to insert other values apart from this, don't accept it. So that's about the global pick list. Now let's go ahead and see. Now, in order to create a global pick list, just go to the setup. Now here search as a pick list. Search as pick list. So we have a pick list value set. So click on that pick list value set. Click on this new. Now I'm going to create a country. Say India and USA, UAE, and let's say UK. So these are the some fields which I have entered. And then do you want to display in the alphabetic or do you want to first field as a default value? I do not want to make it as a default, just click on a save. Now I have created the global pick list and we have a values here. Now go back to the object. Now in this object, I'm going to create a field which is called as a pick list field country. Select the pick list field here. Go on next. I'm going to add pick list field here. Sorry, it is a country. And do you want to use a global pick list or do you want to enter the values? Let's say I'm going to use the pick list field, global pick list field, which is called as a country. Choose that and click on the next button. And then click on the next and save. Have a values country is available. Now if you click on a refresh. So what are the values are available in the global pick list value set? The same values are displayed in the record level also. The same values will be displayed on the record level. Now here you have a options. Now, can I make a dependent based on the global pick list values? Go to the field dependencies. Now, if you want to create another field dependent, like I have created a right now global pick list value. Now let's say based on the country, I'm going to choose a location. Right, so click on say continue. Country pick list values are, we are taking it from the global pick list. Now let's say India is Bangalore and Hyderabad included, USA is Florida included, UAE is Dubai included, and UK I do not have any option. Click on a save. One controlling field does not have a dependent field, that's okay. And if I go here, now first select the country and based on that location is displayed. If I select here, location is already Hyderabad is there, right? If I enter, now I'm going to choose it here, USA. Now here it is going to display the values, Florida. Now click on save. Now let me go back again, check. Edit. Why it is showing all the values. field dependent, edit, right, it is included, and then click on include, save, preview. Let's click on preview. Select the country, India, and then it is going to display the Bangalore. If I select a USA, it is going to display the Florida. If it is a UK, I do not have any options. So location is a dependent field. Controlling field is a country. So even it is a global pick list values, you can implement a field dependent. The lightning, it is going to take time. So that's about the global pick list. Now, whenever we are creating the fields, right? So based on the requirement, we are creating the fields. When we create a field, is there any limit? Is there any limitation? No. Salesforce has any limitation onto it, like how many fields can I create it? Right. So the maximum number of fields you can create it in developer edition is 100. 100 you can create it. Now in the paid version, we have a different type of editions are available. Like if it is an enterprise edition, you can create a 500 custom fields. If it is an unlimited edition, you can create a 800 custom field. If it is a professional edition, then you can create a 800. Professional unlimited, you can create a 800. If it is an enterprise, then you can create a 500. Free version, you can create 100 fields. This is the limitations of fields. Custom fields, apart from the standard fields, you can create 100 custom fields in the free edition. Paid edition, if it is an enterprise, 500. If it is an unlimited or a professional edition, then you will go for 800 custom fields. Now the assignment is create a custom object which is called as a customer demographics, right? And then create these fields, right? Now here, fields are like you have, whenever you are creating the customer demographics, there is a record name it is going to ask. So enter the record name, which is a customer demographic details. And the first name is a data entry. Data entry is nothing but user has to enter, and it is a mandatory field. Last name, user has to enter, mandatory field. Date of birth, user has to enter, mandatory field. Gender, no need to enter by the user. It is a picklist field, choose it, but it's mandatory. Residency address, it's a data enter, and then choose a mandatory field. Now, which data type should we take it? That you decided. And permanent address, data needs to be entered there. Similarly, we have a few more custom objects. So create this like a temporary address data and number of years in the current residency address. How long you are staying into the same address. So that is a picklist field. Choose the picklist field. Or else if you want to go for a number field, go for it. Click on yes. Residency number, it's a data enter, mandatory. Mobile number, mandatory. It's not mandatory. Mobile number, data needs to be entered. Who is the owner of it? Yeah, like the person, whoever is entering, the person is the owner or the person is the rented base. Notification, data entry, and it's not mandatory. Enter the PAN card number or a SSN number or a national identity number. These are the custom fields you need to create it in the object called customer demographics. The next assignment is create a custom object course through the schema builder, right? And add the fields below as a custom field to the object. Now click on the fields here, course name, location, and the picklist field, course code and course base, right? And course duration. Make it this, these fields are mandatory. Course code, course base, course duration is a mandatory. And the next one is a create a student object, the schema builder, and add the fields into the object. So student name, student number, location, right? So, and then you can add a student address, grade, hobbies. So here hobbies are mandatory, grade is mandatory, student number is mandatory. And these are the referral links which are available. And couple of interview questions here. How many custom fields can be created in the developer edition? How many custom fields can be created in the unlimited edition per object? And what are the different ways to view the fields? And what is a field? And what are the data types available in the field? What are the different ways to make the field required? Can we delete a standard field? What are the differences between the custom field and a standard field? What are the navigation steps to create a field? And then what are the standard and the custom fields in the Salesforce? There are the couple of interview questions, and then like what are the differences between the data types and date data type and time data type? And what is restrict pick list values based on the value set? What is the differences between the pick list and multi-select pick list? And what is global pick list? What is global pick list in fields? How to refer the global pick list in fields? Now, what is a geolocation? How multiple pick list selected values are stored in the database? What is the external ID? Explain the external ID. And can currency accept the decimal digit? How can admin activate the multiple currencies, and what will happen if admin activate the multiple currencies? So these are the couple of interview questions.